me to be here with you today. I've really enjoyed getting to know a lot of you over the last few months. It's been exciting to see what God's been doing here and hear stories about how you guys have grown over the years and just even in the last year as you've gone through this transition. It's been fun for me to get to know JJ, and you guys have been blessed to have him. He loves you guys, he cares about you, and he cares about seeing this church grow and flourish. So thank you so much just for inviting me to come today. As I was singing, I was remembering one of the last times I was preaching. It was in Romania. I was a missionary over there a couple of years, and I was incredibly nervous. And the way they did it was they did these short messages where like several people would get up and preach 5-10 minutes, and they wanted me to, so I got up and I started going. And 2 minutes into it, the pastor comes up and he gets on the keyboard and starts playing some music. Are they playing me off? Like, that went every 2 minutes. I guess I'm not emotional enough. But it's exciting. It's exciting for me always just to share from God's Word. And today we're going to be talking about Gideon. And before we look exactly at what JJ just read, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background so that we can be in the frame of mind to put ourselves into this story and to understand what Gideon was thinking, what he was feeling. Because as we do that, it helps us understand Scripture. So we're going to go back to the very beginning of just the nation of Israel. And they went down into Egypt because there was a famine. And God was providing for them in Egypt. But during that time, they became slaves to the Egyptians. And they were slaves for 400 years. So imagine an entire nation of people down in a different country and being their slaves. But the Bible tells us, as we go through Genesis and Exodus and Leviticus, how God miraculously worked. And he showed out, he sent Moses, and there was plague after plague after plague. And all the Egyptians saw God at work miraculously. And as they left Egypt, God parted the Red Sea, and they walked through it on dry land. And then when they came up to the edge of the Promised Land, God stopped the river Jordan from flowing, and they walked across on dry land. And there's a story after story of God miraculously working in their lives. And they all know these. And when they're going into the Promised Land, it's in Deuteronomy 28, God promises them. He says, if you obey me, I will bless you. And he says, here's the ways I'm going to bless you. And he gives them a list. And one of them is victory over their enemies. And in the second half of Deuteronomy chapter 28, he says, but if you disobey me, you will be cursed. You will choose to be cursed, and here are the curses that you will receive. And one of them is, your enemies will be defeating you. So God tells them, you obey me, you'll be blessed. If you disobey me, you'll be cursed. And that's like when we come into Judges chapter 6 today, Judges chapter 6 verse 1, then the sons of Israel did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord gave them into the hands of Midian for 7 years. So God told them, if you disobey me, this is what's going to come. Your enemies are going to defeat you. They disobeyed God, they were defeated. And that's what we begin to see play out today. In the first half of Judges chapter 6, it tells us exactly what they were doing to them. Verse 2, the power of Midian prevailed against Israel. Because of Midian, the sons of Israel made for themselves the dens which were in the mountains and the caves and the strongholds. For it was when Israel had sown that the Midianites would come up with the Amalekites, the sons of the east, against them. They would camp against them and destroy the produce of the land as far as Gaza, leaving no sustenance in Israel, as well as no sheep, hogs, donkeys. And it goes on to say how the Israelites were hiding in caves. And they were building themselves like underground, like in modern day we'd have our concrete bunker underground because the North Koreans are coming. That type of thing. Where they were hiding because they were continually being attacked by Midian. And Midian would come in and they would steal their flocks. They would take their cattle. If they couldn't take all of them, they would kill the rest of them. It says they were devastating the land. They'd come in and steal the crops. Whatever they couldn't take, they would burn. They would devastate it. They would just come in and wipe us out. And it was the very beginning. Just think about how you'd feel if that was your farm, your garden. And the first time they come in and steal all the produce that you worked so hard. And they would wait until it all grows, and then they would come in at the last minute and take it all. And how you'd feel after that happened the first year, and then the second year, and then the third year. It says it's been going on for 7 years. It would be discouraging because you work so hard for food, and then it's just being taken away from you by your enemies. In verse 6, it says, "So Israel was brought very low because of Midian, and the sons of Israel cried out to the Lord." An interesting thing to note here as we think back on Israel, they were slaves roughly 400 years. And then it says, and then they cried out to the Lord. And here it says, they were being defeated for 7 years. And then they cried out to the Lord. It's just interesting as humans, usually how long it takes for us to cry out to the Lord. That we're willing to put up with misery and hardship and terrible times for a long time before we're willing to humble ourselves and cry out to the Lord for help. So as we've looked into this background, this is where we find Gideon in this story. We find that he's been going through this for the last 7 years. He's been going through these difficult times, and we find him hiding. It tells us that all of the Israelites were building caves and dens for themselves. But we see in verse 11, "Then the angel of the Lord came and sat under the oak that was an Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, as his son Gideon was beating out wheat in the winepress in order to save it from the Midianites." And I'm not going to pretend that I'm a farmer or that I've ever beat out wheat myself, but I know it's a very messy process where they have to separate the chaff from the grain, and it's done outside, and it's very dusty. But Gideon's not doing it outside. He's doing it like in a wine cellar. Can you imagine one of the super messy outside farm job, and you're doing it inside, underground, with no ventilation type of? You think that's a good idea? Would you want to sign up to do that? No. And that's where we see him. We see him hiding. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard sermons about Gideon when it talks about this. They say, why was he hiding? Because he was a very fearful man. He was afraid. But I don't see that. Was he afraid? Probably. But a bigger reality of life is after 7 years, if it was going on in your life for 7 years, and every time you did this job out in the public, all your food was stolen, would you do it out in the public anymore? No. Because you realize there's just a reality to life that when difficult time comes, you go, okay, and then this is where I see Gideon, is he's just resigned himself that this is just the way life is. What are you going to do about it? I can't change it, so he's just doing what he has to do to try to feed his family in this instance. If you can just enter into his life for a moment and think about how he would have felt. That he, for 7 years, might have been more hungry than he used to be because some of his food was stolen. He's worried about the health of his family. We find out later that his dad was one of the people who set up altars to false gods. So his own family is leading people away from God. And just think about how he would feel. Is Gideon's life going the way he would have wanted it to? No. The way he expected it to. The way he hoped it to. No. So when the angel of the Lord appears to him and says, verse 12, the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said, "The Lord is with you, O valiant warrior." Put yourself in that cellar, in that basement, doing this dirty job that's 10 times as hard and as messy as it used to be. And you're discouraged, and you're beat down, and someone comes into that moment and says, God's with you. How do you feel? Well, we have an insight into how Gideon felt. Verse 13, "O my Lord, if the Lord is with us, then why has all this happened to us?" Gideon says, if God is with us, why am I doing this job in a cellar? Why am I not outside like I used to be in freedom doing this job? Why is my job 10 times as hard as it used to be? If the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? And where are all those miracles which our fathers told us about, saying, did not the Lord bring us up out of Egypt? And he says, if God is with us, why is my life the way it's like right now? He said, I know the stories about what God did. I know all of his miracles. And when I look at the Bible and I read them, I know what the Bible says what God is like. But why is my life like this when I know the Bible says God is like this? And Gideon's saying, there's just a difference between what I see and what the Bible tells me. And you're telling me God is with me, but I don't feel like that. He even goes so far to say, but now the Lord has abandoned us and given us into the hand of Midian. He's saying, God is with us? No. God's abandoned us. And not only has he abandoned us, but he's literally just tossed us to the wolves. And that's how Gideon feels, is he feels alone, he feels hurt, he feels in pain, and he's like, really? I remember the first time I've ever read that story of Gideon in that way, and I saw him as a discouraged, beat-down man who hasn't seen God working in the way he thought he would work. About 5 years ago, Jamie and I joined Reach Global, which is a mission organization. We head to Romania, and I was so excited because God and I are like this, and we're going to do great things together. I'm going to serve him, and he's just going to roll out the miracles, because I know the stories about God. I know he's a miraculous God, and I'm a servant, and these miracles are just going to come. And so I came home, I quit my job as soon as we got accepted, and full-time began to raise up a team of prayer and financial partners we get over there. I'm like, it's probably going to take a year, and then it's awesome to get over there. After month after month after month, 3 months in, we had 3% of our financial need met and committed. And half of that was my family. Oh, I would have thought we would have been like 25 by now. But I prayed every day. And I worked hard every day. And I continued to press farther and further and further, saying, God, I know this is what you're like. But I didn't see it. And month after month after month, I just began to get more discouraged. So when we came upon the year mark, when I thought we'd be ready to go, we'd have all of our finances, we had less than 20% of what we needed. And I was really discouraged. So we started traveling around the country more to meet more people and speak at more churches. We drove up to Wisconsin. We were going to speak at a church, and then we planned that whoever we met there throughout the week, we'd meet with them and talk about our ministry. And then the next week we were going to preach at a different church. So we preached at the first church, and we had 0 response. Not a single partner. It's like, Lord, we are serving you. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. What is going on? And then the whole week we had nothing to do because no one wanted to meet with us. We had to stay with some people we didn't even know. And then our son, who's 3 months old at the time, Beckham, he is so sick with like congestion, he can't sleep at night, and he's wheezing. We're new parents in the middle of nowhere. We have to call our friends. Where's the nearest emergency room? Go in. We're scared. It's like, God, do you not even care about my family? Do you not care about our health? And then after staying there a whole week, the next church called us on Friday or Saturday. No, they sent me an email and said, oh, by the way, we don't need you to speak this Sunday. It's not a good time. Oh! So then we leave and we drive to Michigan, and I'm just like, what are you doing, God? Because it kind of feels like you've abandoned me. We drive to Michigan to meet with 2 business owners that we set up. When I get there, we set up a time. Neither of them get back to me. We spent 2 days in Michigan for nothing. And in that moment is when I was reading through the Bible, I came to the story of Gideon, and I was like, that's how I feel. Where I know what God is supposed to be like, but when I look at my life, I don't see it. I don't see your miracles. I don't see your goodness. I don't feel like you care about me, like it says you care about me in the Bible. I don't see it. I feel like you've abandoned me. So
So when I read Gideon, I was like, yeah, that's how I feel too. The point where Gideon and I both came to is the point in our lives where faith meets reality. Where we come to the point where we realize there will always be times in our life that God calls us to trust Him when we can't see Him. God calls us to trust that He is who He says He is when we don't see Him at work here in life. So what do we do when we get to this point? We can do what I did. I was severely depressed for a long time. What else do we do? We make jokes. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't really bother me much, you know. Some people drink alcohol to try to forget pain. But the most common is what Gideon did, and just resigning yourself to, this is just the way it is. This is just life. What are you going to do? But deep down, when we're saying that, what we really feel so many times is, there is no hope. It's not going to change. No matter what I do, this is just the way it is. And what we're doing there is we think we're being honest with ourselves in reality, but what we've actually done is downplayed God's significance in our lives in that point. Because we've lost hope that He does care, and we've lost hope that He is going to do anything, that He will change the situation. But we know God's response from this. In verse 14, after Gideon goes on this rant, verse 14, it says, the Lord looked at him. The Lord looked at him. The Lord looked at him. Gideon feels alone in this situation. He feels like God's abandoned him, and he feels like God doesn't care. But it says that the Lord looked at him. And it's in this moment we see it's like the Lord is with him, and the Lord is looking at him. And He knows exactly what he's going through. He knows the exact pain he's feeling. He knows his hurt. He knows all of those things. And He's looking at him, and He says, go in this your strength and deliver Israel from the hand of Midian. Have I not sent you? So God tells him, due to that situation you're in, that's so hard, it's so difficult, it's so painful, I'm with you in that. And I'm the one who's sending you to take care of it. This isn't your problem. This isn't just your thing and you're wondering if I'm looking down upon your situation, like to give you a thumbs up or this or that. But God's saying, I care about that situation far more than you do. And I'm sending you to take care of it. And that's how I felt when I was going through all this. Like, God, don't you care about all those people who are dying without you in Romania? Don't you care? And God's like, Mark, I'm sending you there because I do care far more than you will ever care. And that's what God's telling Gideon is that painful situation in your life, God cares about it, He's with you in it, and He's sending you into that with His own strength, with His own presence, so that it can be resolved. And then after we see this sin out, the rest of this story for Gideon is that God worked miraculously through him. Because although he did not see God at work, he trusted God. He trusted God. He couldn't see God at work, but he trusted God who was who he said he was. And miracles came. So when I read that, I was like, yes! After 1 year, now I got the secret. Story again, I'm going to trust God. Now the miracles are going to start coming. And they didn't. It was still another year and a half. And after a year, I had this breakdown, this discouragement. And for so long, I was like, I don't really understand why I had to go through that. But now in hindsight, what did I do for those 2.5 years? I preached at churches. I met pastors. I did consulting for churches, for small groups. I taught Sunday schools in my class. I did ministries. I met pastors all over the country and learners. I was trained as a pastor. And that was 3 years before I even knew God would call me to be one. So now as I look back, I see God's miraculous hand. Although it was hard, although it was painful, it was God at work. There will always be times in our lives where we have to trust Him when we can't see Him at work. So as we begin to wrap up today, I want to ask you one question. What is in your life that hasn't gone or isn't going the way you thought it should? What is in your life that's painful? An area that you feel like God's dropped the ball? An illness that just won't go away with you, with your family? Cancer, heart disease? Children or friends who are on drugs or in jail? A child who's walked away from the Lord and not living a godly lifestyle? There's so many different situations in our life that when we're honest with ourselves, we feel like God's left us, and we feel alone in this. And we want to say, God, don't you really care about this? But when we think that, what we're really feeling is, God, if you did care about this, you would do something. Because it hurts. Because it's painful. But this is just the way life is we will always be looking at what we refer to as the realities of life. And then we'll be called to look at the reality of who God is and His character. But as long as we're focused on this, what's in front of us, we will never truly trust who God is. Just like when Peter walked on water, as soon as he took his eyes off of Jesus, he began to sink. Because of the hopelessness of the situation. I don't know what all of you are going through. I don't know your lives. I don't know your pains. I don't know all these things. But I know that I have a God who does. And I know that it's hard to trust God. And I know it's hard to place our faith in something we can't see. And what we can see is pain, hurt, and just year after year after year of turmoil. But we can trust. We have a God who is so great and who is so exciting and is so worthy of our trust that we can place our trust. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, we thank you so much that you're with us here now. We thank you that you care about us and you care about the hardships in our lives. You care about our struggles. You care about the turmoil and the pain and the sickness. And you want to send us out to tackle these situations, to work in these situations, because you will be with us and you will be our strength. Just teach us how to take our eyes off of what's in front of us and look to you, to trust in you, to find hope in you. We just thank you so much that you are always with us in these things. Amen.